Konosuba. Initially, you can brush this off as a silly series and one that doesn't have much reread of value due to its childlike humor. However, that is simply not the case. And today, I'm here to show you that while simple from an outsider's point of view, Konosuba is one of the most appealing series and fun series out there, while I believe it is loved by so many. Now, before we go into the video, I must warn those who are watching that there will be spoilers for the light novel spread throughout this video, so if you haven't read those, maybe stay away from this video and go to this timestamp where we conclude our thoughts. Another thing to mention is that we will be glancing over the anime and manga adaptations of the series, as I believe they are far inferior to the light novels and thus far less appealing. But without further ado, let's get right into why Konosuba is just so appealing. Starting with the most simple and arguably most silly reason why Konosuba is so appealing is the comedy. I feel as if the comedy in Konosuba almost always hits its mark, as the author has put a huge focus on the character interactions and why they are the way that they are. And I feel like the humor can be very varied, from Aqua's childlike ignorance to the contrast between Mitsurugi's situation and Kazuma's. And while the comedy may not be for everybody, I feel as if there is such a variety in style of humor that the comedy is easily one of the most appealing aspects of Konosuba, and maybe even its strongest point in the eyes of some viewers, although I personally believe there are much larger aspects of Konosuba which make it as great as it is. Another reason why Konosuba is so appealing to so many is the style of writing the author Natsumi Akatsuki uses. The author really employs this feeling of familiarity with his writing, as you feel as if you're part of the main cast. I feel like I'm in the narrator's shoes whenever I read, and as you'll read, you'll notice that there are almost no lines that explicitly state who is speaking and when, as throughout the series, you'll grow to know the characters, their mannerisms, the special quirks that make them unique, and just about everything there is to know about them. Another thing that's so great about the style of writing is that the author has prioritized enjoyment for the reader above all else. And while some would like to make the point that, oh, this can kind of bring the story down, I would disagree. By prioritizing the enjoyment, the author has made every arc, every chapter, every page flow so smoothly that even if something may feel off at one time, it will quickly flow into a much more enjoyable experience than you would find in another series. Such series as Tanya the Saga of Evil, which is a pain to read, and I'm sorry for anyone who likes that series, it's just not my cup of tea. Another reason why the series is so appealing to me is the easily consumable nature it holds. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, all forms of media are consumable. However, one major factor on if you enjoy a piece of media or not is the consumability of that media. For example, let's take Re:Zero. For Re:Zero, arcs in the series are often spread throughout multiple volumes at a time, and this can be seen as extremely aggravating and difficult to digest, as if you can't read all the volumes at once, you're going to often be left on a cliffhanger, unable to consume the media that you wish to. However, Konosuba doesn't have such issues as this. In the case of Konosuba, each volume is its own self-contained adventure, and some examples of this are in Volume 7, which is all about Darkness's corrupt marriage and how to stop it, the story beginning and ending in Volume 7, or say Volume 10, the story of traveling to Elrond, where the story begins in Volume 10 and ends in Volume 10. And even going to the spin-off volumes, this method of storytelling stays true. The main spin-offs, Volume 1 being the story of the Crimson Demon Village, Volume 2 being the travel to Axel, and Volume 3 being finding her party. And because these arcs are all effectively contained to their own volumes, the series reads beautifully. As say you finish Volume 7, you won't feel pressured into reading Volume 8 immediately, as you've already seen the conclusion of the current story arc. And if we were once again to compare this to Re:Zero, you may finish Volume 6 of the light novel, but be left in the middle of Arc 3, where the series will press you to consume the next volume, or stay not knowing how this arc ends, which can be tiring. Konosuba, however, seemingly encourages you to consume the series at your own pace, with the formula of one story arc per volume. And this is what I believe to be the most appealing aspect of Konosuba for me, and one of the largest reasons of why Konosuba as a series is as popular and appealing as it is. Another reason why Konosuba is simply so appealing to the masses is the characters. I think every character in Konosuba has their own charm, their own quirks, and all fit relatively well in the context of the story. Just about all our favorite characters undergo development as the story goes on, and all characters are expertly defined, and most importantly, are fun to read. But if you want a more in-depth look at some of the more popular characters in the series, I have many videos describing a good portion of the characters, so go check them out, they're on my channel. And of course, one final thing that appeals to the masses, and one final reason on why Konosuba is just such an appealing series. Hi, this is the girls! The girls are cute, man! Ask anyone and they'll agree. Kind of a silly point here, but I thought I'd put it in. Hell, you may have discovered the series of Konosuba through word of mouth of the cute explosion lolly. I don't know! The girls are just cute and something that appeals to many weebs. So I had to mention it here, man. The girls are a huge factor on why Konosuba is so appealing. And before we end things off here today, I decided to go ask around the Konosuba community and see what they find the most appealing part of the series, as of now, I've kind of really only given my opinion. So here's what we've gotten. Probably the characters. They are almost all horrible people in one way or another, but they're still very likable and have great dynamics. I really appreciate it. It's the romance, that's for sure. Also, here's what the guy had to say, but quite honestly, I didn't feel like reading all this out, so you'll have to forgive me. Best part of Konosuba would be the designs. They look cool. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. After today, I'm going to be moving away from Konosuba content for the most part, as I've kind of covered the whole series at this point. But don't worry, I may have some Konosuba live streams still pumping out. Oh, and if I myself had to say what is the most definitive appealing factor of Konosuba, the thing everybody wants in this series, the thing that everybody comes to, it's Iris, without a doubt. She's the best girl, baby. Woo! We ride the Iris train every day.